Welcome back everyone, time to go balls deep into Jujutsu Kaisen. And dang it guys, Jujutsu Kaisen honestly knows how to break a man's heart, as once again, we witness another tragic death. I'm going to go over this devastating moment along with breaking the revelation of possibly the strongest curse technique to exist. I'm talking about Jinbu Shadow Monarch level. Yes guys, we are on that flex. I'll be going over Principal Yaga's curse corpse creation technique and explain why it's one of the most powerful Jujutsu technique to exist. Oh, and this video will contain spoilers for non-manga readers. If you guys want to join us on our Jujutsu Kaisen chapter reviews and discussions, I seriously recommend everyone to read the manga. It's honestly at its high, and like I said earlier, we get another non-forgiving death. But before I get into that, like always, I want to thank everyone who is showing their love and support for our Jujutsu Kaisen content. Me and Adil are fasting for Ramadan right now, so it's a bit harder to pump these out. Honestly, seeing how the Jujutsu Kaisen community is growing, we can't stop here. Plus, I really do look forward to these bangers. So help us and the community by smashing that like button and push Jujutsu Kaisen to the front lines. Okay, so to make sure we are all on the same page, let's quickly go over chapter 146, where we dive deeper into the Culling Games and the stipulation involved with the game starting. Essentially, Tengen explains that the Culling Games is the transferring of Japan to the other side by using 10 colonies spread throughout Japan. This other side seems to be like a different realm of a sort, and these 10 colonies are the points of entry for the game. So within these points of designation, the game will be held for all of the players. Maki informs us and the group that Shoko believes that the penalty of curse technique removal actually means death due to there being a major change in their brain without the use of a banding route initiated by the players. But this also means characters like Maki possibly might have some form of immunity to the rules due to not really having a curse technique. And Panda might also be an exception, but no one is sure as of yet. In the terms of the mission to save Sumiki and the other players who do not want to participate in the Culling Games, the students must get their 100 points to add a rule to the game. This can occur after trading the points for negotiating with the Game Master, who has been confirmed to not be Kenjaku, but the programming of the Culling Game itself. Basically, it seems the game is a giant AI program created with multiple binding vows on Kenjaku. This means there is no bias towards Kenjaku due to the rules of Jujutsu sorcery, allowing the participants to have a good chance of adding a rule that can help them greatly. With this regulation settled and understood, our gang finalized their roles and split up. Yuki and Joso will protect Tengen. Yuta will go into a colony alone to investigate and get early intel. Megumi and Itadori will recruit the suspended third year Hakari Kinji, who Yuta suggested could be strong as him. Maki will head to Panda after getting weapons from the Zenin storage, along with visiting the workshop of the hanger maker cursed user Juzo from the Goodwill arc. A key thing to note is that once again we are reminded that Megumi is the Zenin head, which ultimately gives him and his friends access to the Zenin arsenal. Lastly, we get an insight into a new participant of the Culling Game, a failing comedian named Fumihiko Takaba, who seems to have been overtaken by negative emotions surrounding his failed career. This makes 3 confirmed players of the Culling Games with Sumiki Fushiguro and the angel Hana Kurusu. With that, we finally move on to chapter 147, and right off the bat, we know this chapter is ready to pull on our heartstrings with the cover page of a young Panda's hands holding Principal Yaga's, perfectly fitting with the chapter's beginning, as a flashback arises of the principal of the Kyoto branch, Gakuganji, standing outside of Yaga's prison cell days after the birth of Panda. Gakuganji explains to Yaga that he has been indefinitely imprisoned due to the creation of Panda. This is because Yaga created a cursed puppet that can replenish its own cursed energy without the creator's help, where ordinarily a cursed puppet or a creation would require the consumption of cursed energy from its user. You guys still don't get it? Well, listen up. A cursed corpse is a type of object that is possessed by a curse to be able to move on its own. However, these puppets may move on their own, but they can't do so without cursed energy, which is always usually supplied by the person who created them. And due to them being possessed, they can follow preset commands but are unable to think or react on their own. However, Panda is different because he is completely sentient as his own being. Panda is specifically labeled as an abrupted mutated cursed corpse, holding 3 souls in one body. This somehow allows Panda to generate his own cursed energy as well as without dependence on Principal Yaga. With Panda's creation, the higher ups at that time confirmed Yaga to be a special grade cursed user, and they put him into prison out of fear that if Yaga did create Panda intentionally, then that would mean that he has the ability to easily create an army of these independent cursed corps. Again, this isn't usually possible because the cursed corps would be limited by the user's cursed energy, but with Principal Yaga's technique, he bypasses any limitation. If Yaga purposely created a cursed puppet like Panda, which he most likely did, my guy basically gave rise to an independent life like he is some sort of kami or something. This is definitely worthy of the special grade title, and if you think about it, this revelation is crazy. Principal Yaga, if he wanted to, could let loose a horde of pandas to Japan. Let that sink in. These Jujutsu higher ups should be happy he ain't an evil curse user. But coming back to the flashback, Gakuganji asks Yaga if he truly made Panda by accident, to which Yaga answers yes. Obviously, you know, he's lying. And the reason Yaga could be lying is, well, it would make sense given the situation. Like, my man does need to survive, raise a newborn panda baby, and plus he doesn't want to let this technique out in the open. Now the chapter flashes forward to Yaga sitting on a log next to a cursed corpse. The cursed corpse tells Yaga that everyone is worried about him and that he doesn't look well, so he told everyone else to work together to cheer Yaga up. Just from the first instance, this cursed corpse is similar to Panda and most likely Yaga's creation, likewise with everyone else he's referring to. Now Yaga calls the cursed corpse by his name Takeru, whilst explaining that he'll be gone for a while, instructing Takeru to tell everyone else. Takeru asks if it's going to be a long business trip, in which Yaga responds yes and not to worry because the forest Takeru lives in is protected by Tengen's barrier and that his mother will still visit him again, so he will be fine even without him. In a bit we get more to the story and who Takeru and his mother is, but as Principal Yaga begins to leave the protected forest by crawling through a little door in a tree, and seriously I don't know how he's gonna get through this, I can see why no one would find this place, but before Yaga leaves this forest we get a super emotional scene as Takeru beside multiple other cursed objects says, "We'll be lonely without you." I don't know why, but in my head he sounded like Mickey Mouse, alright? But even though Yaga did say he'll be gone for a while in a business trip, I think everyone felt that he might not come back. The connection between this cursed corpse and Principal Yaga is truly something above and beyond. So seeing him depart like this is actually really sad. And if it wasn't obvious, these cursed objects are more than likely similar to Panda created by Yaga and hidden away in their own little habitat. Now the next page changes the scene to Panda, who was locked up but then is seen being freed by Kusakabe. Panda asks if this is really okay, with Kusakabe responding telling him not to tell anyone he helped. He adds the reason he did this was due to his debt to Yaga, from which then we find out the real reason Panda was locked up in the first place. Panda was just a bait to lure out Yaga, his father, by the higher ups. Back in chapter 137, Yaga along with Gojo and itadori were sentenced to death by them. At this point we then get another flashback, giving some insight to the debt Kusakabe was referring to. We see a young Kusakabe along with his sister in a wheelchair. Yaga asks Kusakabe if he's okay with this, implying a cursed corpse creation. He continues to explain that this corpse won't be his actual nephew, just an information copy of his data before his death. However, Kusakabe explains how his sister cannot continue life without Takeru, this reference being that his sister is mentally stuck in the past after losing her son. This is possibly because of a bad accident, mentally causing her to become disabled. The cursed corpse we saw earlier in the first flashback is seen again, appearing behind Yaga, asking if this woman in the wheelchair is his mother. Yaga says yes, which causes Takeru to say his catchphrase, "I'm a genius, right?" Causing Kusakabe's can't take myself seriously. Causing Kusakabe's sister to react upon hearing her son's catchphrase, jumping out of her chair to hug him happily. Kusakabe thanks Yaga, but Yaga apologizes because he says he can't let a cursed corpse like Takeru become public, so Takeru cannot live with his mother. However, that doesn't make Kusakabe feel any less grateful towards Yaga, as after all his sister looks hella better. As the flashback ends, we move to Principal Yaga, who is approached by a mysterious ninja looking dude while standing on top of a light post. This new character asks Yaga, where is he going without bringing his cursed corpse? Yaga responds, to see my son. Obviously referring to Panda. We come to learn that this ninja is from the Jujutsu higher ups and informs Yaga that the only way to avoid his death penalty is to explain exactly how he made self-sustained cursed corpses like Panda. Now from all of this, it makes me wonder why the higher ups are so desperate in learning this technique. Well, gaining this type of knowledge of Jujutsu will after all allow them to create their own army of cursed corpse like Panda, and the reason they would want an army like this is obvious. They could have their own major faction of Jujutsu warriors that would do all of the dirty work. Unlike Yaga, they won't see these cursed corpse as their own individuals, rather they will see them as tools. Yaga's outlook on these cursed corpse is completely different. He sees them as his children. He went even far enough to create habitat for them, treating them as people, where more than likely the higher ups would treat these cursed corpse as slaves and not as actual beings who can think and feel for themselves. Yaga knows this, and because of it will never reveal these techniques to the higher ups. Along with that, if the Jujutsu higher ups gain the knowledge to make these cursed corpse, they would have more opportunities to monopolize the power of Jujutsu in Japan for themselves. So that's why they gave Yaga the ultimatum of telling them of being executed, because they will not allow there to be such a powerful ability or opportunity out there without controlling it in some capacity. But back to the chapter, Yaga says that the ninja and the higher ups are awfully confident now that Gojo is gone. The ninja responds, of course, because I have an experienced Jujutsu sorcerer with me, where Principal Gakuganji arrives on the scene. At first I was like what is this dude gonna do? This old grimy ass wanna be rockstar? In the next page we see our OG Principal Yaga at death doors. Damn, no, I didn't expect that. No, but seriously it makes sense because Principal Yaga depends on his cursed corpse creation and he has none of them with him. He's basically a civilian at this point compared to someone like Principal Gakuganji. And I ain't gonna lie, I really hated Gakuganji when he plotted to kill Itadori, but this is too far. How is one principal killing another? Gakuganji is clearly a scrub for the higher ups. But as soon as the ninja guy leaves, Principal Yaga starts explaining how Panda and any independent cursed corpse was made to Gakuganji. Yaga starts by stating, duplicate the soul information from the body's information, which to be fair this concept is very similar to the resurrection of Toji and Kenjaku, and later Mahito even dabbles into that. Then the second step is then input the information into the core of the cursed corpse. Make cores with 3 compatible souls, then insert them into the same cursed corpse. Always let them observe each other. When you do this, the souls will stabilize, then the ego will begin to form. 3 months after its birth, cursed energy will start self-generating. And we did have an idea that multiple cores was necessary for this, as we know from Panda's existence. If you guys want us to dive deeper into explaining cursed corpse alongside Panda and his abilities, let me know by putting it down below in the comment section. But shocked by the surprise info drop, Gakuganji asks what we all were thinking. On why is Yaga telling him all of this information now? Yaga responds, it's a curse, Principal Gakuganji. A curse from me to you. Now what this could mean is that this technique holds so much potential and at the same time so much risk. If Gakuganji does end up telling the higher ups about how this technique works, he would be responsible for whatever outcome comes from it. Now even though Gakuganji's does seem quite old fashioned and by the books, I'm pretty sure if Yaga did inform him about this, Gakuganji might not be that stupid. Well, we can't be too sure. Regardless, depressingly, as Yaga then passes away, his son Panda arrives at the scene. He panics and yells his name. Gakuganji then turns around preparing to fight Panda. However, Panda just walks past him to Yaga's body. Panda is then questioned by the old principal on why he won't attack. And doesn't he hate him for killing his father? Panda then responds to not lump him in with humans, as he isn't bound by such stereotypes. On top of that, adding how he knows about Gakuganji and Yaga's relationship wasn't that bad. Gakuganji after all is a higher up simp and was just following orders. To Panda, Gakuganji is like a falling knife, being sharp but not a threat. Now even though Panda wasn't planning to go all out against Gakuganji, he makes sure to mention the saddest shit I ever heard. Like seriously, he tells Gakuganji to at least remember that even a panda cries whilst tears pours down his face as he looks over his father's body. This is truly some sad shit. I'm really sad that my guy Yaga died, but after Nanami, I'm not surprised. In fact, I'm pretty sure Octomy ain't done yet. Between Yuki and Choso, I think one of them will die for sure. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. But that's it for this video. Again, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, ding that notification bell to stay in tune with the community and so you'll know when we post our next video. With that guys, I'll catch you lot till next time.